So putting it all together, I don't think this is a small handheld, especially compared to the 3.5-inch display devices that Anbernic is known for making, but I do think that there are some trade-offs with having this larger size, including that larger screen, which again is impressively big. And depending on the pants and shorts that you're using and the size of its pockets, you might be able to cram it in, but this is at the cusp where I would not consider this to be pocketable. I wouldn't want to walk around with it. So it definitely falls in line with something that I would throw inside of a backpack or a sling bag and take around with me, but not necessarily in my pocket and walk around. Everybody's got a different definition of what makes pocketable, but that's just the way that I see it. It's big, but not too big for me. And overall, I love these 4.7-inch devices like the RG477M. We've just got so much screen to work with, and it makes all those retro games look really impressive. This device is going to be thicker than the RG477M because this one has those stacked shoulder buttons, but I think it's a good trade-off in terms of comfort and everything else. Another benefit of having a somewhat larger handheld is that we've got more space for our hands on the back, so this is a very comfortable experience. I've been enjoying it over the past day. I can definitely see this one becoming my main retro handheld with that bigger display and this extra comfort. It's just not the one that I would throw in my pocket if I'm just going to go and run an errand. Okay, let's talk about these controls. We'll start with the D-pad. So this is a typical Anbernic D-pad. It's a rubber membrane. It's got that classic Super Nintendo kind of look and feel to it. And yeah, it's got a good amount of travel to it, good pivot, everything that you would expect from this company after years of making this similar D-pad. And the D-pad and face buttons have this plastic circle here, so there's no glass there. So when you press down on it, you're not pressing against glass, and so it feels kind of classic and retro in that way, even though we do have this sleek and somewhat smudgy glass on it as well. And when I test D-pads, I usually do the same game so that I'm consistent. And the first one is Contra. So I press down on the D-pad, then rock it left and right, both lightly and then with some extra force. When I move it lightly, the character doesn't really move. Every once in a while it will, so I would say it's a little bit more sensitive than I would like, but we're really getting nitpicky here. If I try to rock it even further left and right, I can make the character move, but that's a good thing. I want the ability to hit a diagonal. I just want to be able to avoid a false diagonal if I don't want that. So at least when it comes to my Contra test, I would say that it passes it pretty well, but it is a little bit more sensitive than I would like, just by a hair. When it comes to my Street Fighter style test, here I'm actually trying to hit a diagonal, rolling it into a Hadouken and Shoryuken, and absolutely no issue here whatsoever. It feels really good and very classic. I grew up learning how to play Super Nintendo Street Fighter 2, so this is like right in my wheelhouse. So I would consider this D-pad to be Hadoukenable and Shoryukenable, no problem. Another test I will do is with a precision platformer like Celeste, so here I'm trying to see whether or not I'm hitting a false diagonal when I don't want to, and so far no problems here whatsoever. So even though the D-pad is a little bit more sensitive on the Contra test, in actual practical use, like when playing in Celeste, I've got no problem here. So I think this is a good D-pad. Let's talk about the analog sticks next, and at first glance you might be thinking, oh no, these are Nintendo Switch Joy-Con sticks, but that's really just the design of the cap. The sticks underneath are those Hall sensor sticks that we've seen with other companies. They have a wide range of motion, so they are good. We've seen this over the past year or so from Anbernic, and the caps also come off, and so it has the exact same design as we've seen before. So you can swap out these caps with others. For example, those from Retroid or Aya or AYN, those are all going to fit. There also are 3D printed options too, so this is not really that big of a deal to me. I don't really like the look of this cap either, and I think it's a little bit slick. Like I would like it to have a bit more grip to it, but that's an easy fix if you try out some of those other solutions from other companies or on Etsy. As far as analog stick accuracy, this is pretty good. I'm not detecting any cardinal snapping here, and we've got a full range of motion, and I feel like I can move this in any direction that I please. So when playing an analog stick focused game like Super Mario 64, I feel like I have complete control of Mario. I